know what that was? Oh, that doo-doo, baby.
And the next prompt is, I do not need a man to feel complete or fulfilled. Okay, anyone can speak. Whoever feels passionate about this.
So like I was saying before, I think a lot of, obviously, how we're feeling and our opinions are completely shaped on our experiences. So mine, particularly because I was raised by a single mom, I think seeing the...
This is gonna be terrible. It's gonna be a terrible answer. I'm sorry, she was raised by a single mom. I'm finna get triggered.
way in which she still dedicated her time to me, and she had time to do that because she was an older mom too, so I think she got to live her life to a certain point. And then she had me, because I got to grow up with a woman who was able to take care of herself and allow me to experience the world as well, and she didn't have a man by her side. I actually never saw my mom date a man, like in my experience. After my dad, I think that was it for her. But because...
I'm sorry, that's different. That's different then. Your mom had a guy and he passed away. So that means technically she said, hey yo, this was the guy that I was with. She's a widow. Your mom's not a single mother, she's a widow. So that one's different. Maybe, I'm not crazy, right? That's different. A widow, she didn't make bad decisions. So when your father passed away, she didn't make bad decisions. Her decision making was pretty consistent. So, okay, I now kind of see this is the reason why she should have found another guy. She should have went and got another guy, because even though she wasn't making bad decisions in her life, now you're gonna think by just being there and seeing that there was no guy, you're gonna think you don't need a guy. When your mother, if you asked her, she would probably believe, I needed my husband. I actually needed him. He helped me become who I was. You need a guy.
Because I saw that, it really always taught me that I did not need somebody else, regardless of who it is, a friend, a boyfriend, anything.
There it is! There it is! There's the dented beetle! Yes!
To make me feel fulfilled as a person, because at the end of the day, and I hate to be so morbid, but I'm just always thinking about this, but in a positive way, we are going to go by ourselves. There's nobody else that goes with us, so you have to feel fulfilled within yourself.
Thank you.
I would agree with that, actually, as somebody who got married really young, which is why I agreed with the prompt. I don't think that we're supposed to be fulfilled by other people. I think that when we have Christ in our lives and when we know ourselves, we can be fulfilled, right? Because like you said in the beginning, our purpose is to serve God and to serve others. And so my husband adds so much to my life, and my life has become significantly better since I married him. But as a person, I am fulfilled in who I am.
Question for you ladies. How has your ambition or your success and your status influenced your romantic relationships or your dating lives?
Yeah. I think there's a better standard, because for me to achieve the things that I've achieved, it required me to grow into the woman to do that. So now, now what I require of a man has changed, and I think that in our society, in addition to glamorizing, like, I'm a boss and all this type of stuff, I think there's also this thing that I want to disabuse while I have like this, while we're here on this platform, of like, we don't need men. And I don't believe that. Like, I wanted to fulfill myself, but part of that is, I feel like we're in a society where women are like, I want a guy to make 6 figures, all of this stuff that I'm not knocking, and I'm not saying it's not important, but the reason I think that you should be financially independent, fulfill yourself, is so that you can become a woman who actually is equally yoked with the kind of person that a lot of women aspire for. Not all women. So like, whatever that means to you, it's like, what are you bringing to the table?
See, it sounds like she's gonna, like they're gonna make sense. They're gonna say something, but then as soon as they keep going, you be like, I don't care if you make money, ma'am. That's not what a guy wants. Okay, you want this guy with this much money, you should make this much money. No, don't nobody want that. They want you, my dear, to do the things that they want. Go find out what the guy wants and do it. That's what you're supposed to do. Don't try to equal him in the thing that you want. That's not how that works. But you know, like, how many years has this been going on and they still don't know? They still don't acknowledge it.
And so, yeah, for me, that's kind of my perspective on that, is like, you should, in my experience, I think that I was dealing with a lot of foolishness. I didn't know myself. And now what I require, and not even require, what I attract, what I entertain, is better. And that has nothing to do with financials. That's just a part of it. But it's just that man is out there doing his thing to get to where he was. And so we might have similar backgrounds, similar industries, whatever. But really and truthfully, it's who we had to become. And I think in that regard, you know,
because I hear a lot of
affected
men,
it.
I've heard a lot of men talk about this, and as beautiful as a woman may be, if she has that kind of hustle mentality or business mind or just very ambitious, they tend to not want
It
to
can be
date.
not
They tend to
attractive.
not want to date you.
A man
because-
does not care, says last, but a real man does not care about how much money you make. That's why I say it's for you.
Not the money, but the
mentality. Yeah,
and
I see
putting
that, and I
into
think
it.
that's an issue in society. I believe you need men. Like, I believe having a husband is important. I think it's one of the wonderful things. I think even if I'm a CEO, my job is still to be a helpmate for him, and he can be a partner for me. I don't know why we feel like you can't be a housewife and have a partnership, lift that man up, support him, pray over him, clean your house, and still do your thing. Because the man that is in my life in that capacity only make all my business endeavors better.
I can tell you why you can't do it. It's like a couple of things. If you are being a helpmate for this guy doing things, and you also have a career as a lady, your children aren't being raised the way you want them to be raised. Somebody else is raising your kids. You can lie to yourself. Don't lie to me. I know, because guess what? I had a mom who was a house mom. I had a stay-at-home mom. My brother have a stay-at-home wife who has children. Do you know how much work it is with those kids? She also do homeschooling. So that means she has skipped past the part of them trying to indoctrinate her children. It's so many things that you just don't pay attention to. Yeah, that's why you can't be this career lady and also act like you're a helpmate. Unless both of y'all don't really care about how your kids are developed. If you don't care about the development of your children, do you? You're a bad person, but do you? But yeah, that's why you can't do this thing that you're talking about. Or maybe I misheard what you just said. Maybe I did, but I don't think I did. I don't think I misheard it.
Clashes. What if you don't have time to do that for him because you have your
Time.
phone ringing, you got emails?
So
to
that's
respond
where
to?
it's a compromise,
Yeah.
right? Because that's what it is, a partnership. And like they said,
Partnership. Yeah, I knew it. You just let them keep talking. Let them keep talking with their ugly ass woman suits. They let it out. They always let it out.
have to go over all these things before you get married, and you have to work together. And I do think people are so quick to walk away. And I think if you're willing to walk away, yes, your livelihood is important, but when you merge together, you have to work that out. There has to be some understanding. I don't think a woman should just sacrifice everything, but I personally wouldn't want to be with a man who would want me to do that personally.
Thank you. Any of you want to speak to that with dating?
Yeah, going back to what you read, I think it just comes down, at least to me, it's not about finances, and I know we put so much emphasis on that, but to me, finances or money is all energy. So I think if you decided and you had a strong mindset and you were just super business oriented, and you wanted to get to a certain plan or a goal, that energy putting towards that goal is gonna get you there. You know what I mean? So I think when it comes to dating, having a person to just support you in your big dreams, especially if you're a big dreamer, to not shut you down, to support you, to push you, to give you ideas, to give you a different avenue of looking at things in ways that maybe you don't see, or you know what I mean? So I think when it comes to dating, I think if you are with me, you're going to absolutely have to make my mind churn in ways that I probably don't, because I already have a brain that thinks really, really high.
What the hell is even that?
That's why you're single. Thank you for saying it. You said it out loud. That's why you're single. Because you don't want to be a helpmate. There you go. You don't want to be a helpmate. Do they know what a helpmate is? Let's be honest. Okay, first off, she has a widowed mom who did not explain to her the actual benefits and what you need to do to get a guy. So I ain't gonna lie to you. This first evidence I've seen that even widowed mamas, they'll mess you up. So this sucks. But still, you need a guy to turn your brain or whatever so you could become this lady who has all these career dreams, because that's what you're talking about. Don't lie to me. Your dream isn't to have a great family, or your dream isn't going with the thing that a man wants. The man you're with should have a dream for you, for him, and for his kids. And we both supposed to work together to make that happen. But when you talk to a lady who shows up with this pre-made dream that she has, how is this gonna work? What if your dream go, against mine. That means you gotta go find a guy who don't really have this system that he already created, which means you gotta go find a guy who don't really think that much, who's just living life. He's just flowing through life. That's what you gotta go find. I might have just rambled a little bit, but that's what I just heard.
So I think I would need someone that is that way. Now, do they have to have a lot of money? Absolutely not. But do you have to have the grit, the energy to know, like, I will get there? Doesn't mean millions, doesn't mean anything. It just means being self-sufficient in that way, to be comfortable, cool. We're not worried about it.
Have you
I beg your pardon?
She just said she'll leave you if you don't get the money that she thinks you should have soon enough. You can come in not having that much money, but you better get that money at a certain time that she has in her head, or she's gonna leave you. That's what she said.
ever dated somebody and it's been like too much for them?
Yeah, absolutely. All my boyfriends, I think, have been afraid. Like, I'm a risk taker. Like, I moved to California. I had a boyfriend at the time. I was like, do you want to move with me? No, I
Risk taking is a very masculine trait.
can't go. I can't leave my mom, can't leave my sister. I hope he doesn't watch this one.
I'm going to pose a scenario to you ladies on this side. If you were married to a very wealthy man who told you that you never had to work or lift a finger because everything is taken care of, he just wants you to focus on raising the children and managing the home, how would that make you feel? How would you respond to that?
I actually just had this happen to me not that long ago, and he did
She's gonna say that she wanted to keep working.
tell me that, and I said, that's really nice, but I'm still going to work.
Yeah.
I had that happen. I declined.
Okay, what about you?
I'd probably still have some type of side business. Honestly, I love working. And as much as I loved getting to be there with my daughter for the first years of her life, but I'm a go-getter. I was bored. And I also think, your ambition will kind of show you as a mirror the other person and what they're thinking and how they're thinking about you. Because when I did become more ambitious and I started my first company, it started like a rift between me and my ex. He was like, oh, you have to go to work? Well, what does that mean? Like, are you going to cheat on me? Blah, blah, blah. There was all this insecurity when I started to
Insecurity. If you let them talk, just
work more. And it really didn't have anything to do with the work because I was still going home, cooking, cleaning, doing not cleaning, but doing all that stuff. I don't believe in
Well,
cleaning.
you keep saying
No.
that you were.
You don't believe in cleaning. What did you just say? This is ridiculous. What am I listening to? First off, Erykah Badu, I don't know what she is. She looks like, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, she looks like she has like great oils she burned in her house. Like frankincense and everything. It looks good. She actually would trick me a little bit. If she had natural hair, I would consider talking to her. But the only problem is, I don't know how old she is, so that I'll take that back. But the only problem is, as soon as she kept talking, I was like, whoa, my dear, what are you talking about? First off, you don't believe in cleaning? You need to have a business? Why can't your children be your business? Why can't you make it your business to make sure your children are smarter than everybody else? Why can't that be your business? Your business gotta be some way where you're out here making money. It has to be that for some reason. Even though that stat shows as soon as they start making a lot of money, she wants to leave you.
I'm just wondering if you took some of that boredom and channeled it into your motherhood or channeled it into
Yes.
into the home in a different way. Do you think you could have just used it in a different way to help
That's what I'm talking
your
about.
family, or do you think that it needed to be something that happened outside of the home?
I think I need to build things for lots of people. I like to build for hundreds, thousands of people, and that's what I do now.
What the Chief? We got a bunch of junkless dudes. That's what this is. A bunch of junkless dudes with breasts. I gotta build stuff for hundreds of people. You don't. How about you build stuff for the children? How about that? Why do y'all make this so hard? I just need you to just do your job as a lady. Just be a lady.
So for me, it's like I was tending to the orchard every day. I had a full garden. I walked to the beach. I took surf lessons, did all this stuff, and I was still like, it felt for me, not for everyone, but it felt very like I'm doing this for 3 people, and I want to build for lots of people.
I have a slightly different perspective.
Oh my God.
I personally, when I have a kid, y'all not gonna see me. I'm gonna be with my kid, and it's gonna be awesome. And I think that it will bring out another side of me, and I'm excited about that. My thing is the reason I declined it from the person who said that to me is I feel like
What?
they wanted to suppress me. They didn't want me to outshine them. And so my thing is, we have a partnership. I'm probably gonna step away because I want to be with my child.
Feminism. She wants to do what she wants to do. That's another thing you gotta be afraid of. See, she was getting ready to say something where I was like, hey, yo, I like how this sounds. Until she said, yeah, I'm gonna do it because I want to do it. Heifer, I don't care about what you want to do. It's the plan. Follow the plan. And I just messed up. I hit the button and it skipped a little bit. Jesus.
Daddy, chill.
Is it that hard to follow? Like, it can't be that hard. If you have a job, you listen to somebody. Why can't you listen to your husband? Why do you and your husband have to have equal say-so? You don't have equal say-so at your job. Think about it. You do know, even if you're a CEO, you don't have equal say-so. The one who owns the business can tell you, pack your get out. I'm just saying.
So these things are important. I know that because I want to be with my child. I'm also educated. I'll probably homeschool my child because I know the education system, you know? So these things are important. I know the responsibility and I embrace that responsibility. I think it's all about the intention that the person's coming from. We can compromise. I am a mother. That is my priority, right? Like, I will tell you, as someone who's talked to parents quite often, and I've tried to just tell them about, you know, the progress of their child and different things, everybody's not equipped. I'll just say that, right? And I don't want to be that. I want to be there for them, you know, and I want them to know I'm there for them. But long term, if you just don't want me to do anything ever, that's where I personally have an issue. But having a compromise and making it a priority, I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. Who feels passionate about this?
Sure.
Go ahead.
I think that intention and perception is so much in this topic because I think there's a lot of jobs I could go to and I would be so bored. I could be making money, I could be like building things, I'd be so bored. But at home, I think I see my kids, I don't just see the 2 or 3 of them, I see like the generations that come after them.
Oh, thank God.
That's what I'm talking about.
I've tailored it to where it is challenging, to where I am homeschooling, to where I just make it exciting because I put all my passion into it. And I think that can be said for different jobs and different lifestyles at home. Just kind of depends on how you feel about it and what your perception is.
I respect
Thank you for sharing that.
I respect it.
Anyone else? Did you want to say something?
I was going to comment on the men part because I think the right man won't care if you're working or not. Like when I first met my husband, I was competing in pageants. I had a business. I was working full-time at a law firm. And he loved everything about me when I was doing those things, right? But once we got married and I was actually able to stop working, I told him I don't want to work anymore. And he was happy with that too. And actually me not working has helped our marriage than when I was working because he's in his role and I'm in my role. So I just think that you have to have the right man who's, you know, when you start out dating him, he's not going to be insecure by the businesses you're building or
She's not a traditional wife. They're living something like a traditional wife, but she'll leave. She'll leave as soon as she don't get something that she wants. That's what I'm hearing. This guy is just cool with anything she chooses. This will be trad-wise. She's not that. She's a trickster. That's what she is. She's a, what's that lizard with all the eyes that move around? She's one of those things. She's camouflaging. I don't know if it's a chameleon. You know, they say that word. I don't want to call it that. She's an iguana. Yeah, she's a goddamn iguana.
What did that just mean?
or what you're doing. But then when you're like, no, I just want to stay home and have kids, he's perfectly okay with that too.
He's okay with anything you
It's important to have
said.
that conversation well before you get married. I know you told him after you're married, but I think it's important for that to be something that you know before going in, so that they can say, well, I can't do that. I don't want that, or I would love for you to do that, and not just have it sprung up on someone as well. I think that's important.
Yeah, and personally, when I was dating, I wanted to find someone who wanted me to be home with our kids. That was important for me as like a father, and so.
I like this white woman. This white woman, I'm telling you, I'm cool with it. Over here looking like Little House on the Prairie. This woman is doing great. I respect it.
Yeah, I think talking about that beforehand is.
I totally get to why a man would want that. Like, I don't think that's weird. I think in society we like, even though that might not be where I'm at right now, I think we need to stop making that a weird thing. To me, making that weird is weird.
Okay, thank you.
I'm just saying, like, he needs help. Like, you're a helpmate. Like,
You're
what's wrong with you? Like, how is he gonna clean the house? You want 6 figures, but you also want to work. It's like, come on, like, let's be realistic.
Okay, I just wanted to say that when we do look at statistics, though, women are filing for divorce at a much higher rate. And then also, if you're a working woman, you're an educated woman, it's like rises up to 90%.
Yes.
So
she knows.
I once was a boss babe, but just kind of hearing what you kind of were were saying, was that I had to kind of give that up because I was competing so much with my husband, and I was carrying these masculine traits where it's like he's trying to like, he's in his role, but I'm almost like trying to outscore him, and I'm like, oh, you know, I'm having leadership qualities basically now. And it was, instead of what I think a partnership is that you come into a more submissive role and you let him lead. Now I'm actually butting heads with him and leading, and what will happen is you end up leaving because it's like, I can do better. You know, I can do better than what you're doing. And you end up, you know, filing for divorce. You're not doing enough. You're not doing as much. Where before I think he was just fine. Now I'm out trying to actually outscore him. So I just kind of wanted to add my kind of 2 cents on that.
Big screen. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. That lady, the white woman, Little House on the Prairie.
The white man.
I respect that. Everything she was saying, I was like, hey, her husband got a good one here. So I wish I could find me something like that. Find me an old little thing like that. But make it with an afro. Afro and chocolate, boom. Happiest person in the world. Oh yeah, the other women, I did not even want to have like a problem with the one with the suit, because she was saying, hey, all of that stuff makes sense what you're saying. Yeah, the only problem is you keep saying that we're partners, and you really want me to be all right with whatever you choose. So if I say something you don't want to do, there's gonna be a problem. That's what I'm hearing, and that right there is like you're doing dominance, hiding it within submissiveness. Like that's what you're doing. You're a wolf in sheep's clothing right now. So everything it looked like she's doing it in any guy who's traditional would like it, until there's something she don't want to do. And that's when it's gonna come out. It's gonna hit you right in the face. The other one who had the widowed mom, I ain't gonna lie, you kind of made me understand that even if you're a widowed mom, I don't want to say that because you're the only one that I've seen do this. Because I was about to say that, hey yo, I guess widowed moms are technically like single moms, but we don't know that. I need more context. I need more context about her mom. Her mom might have been crazy, and then her father just passed away, which I'm sorry for your loss. I won't say anything about him or your mom. But that other one, the one in the middle with the jeans on the traditional side, heifer, pack your and get to the other side. You ain't over here. She ain't one of us. They not like us, right? That's what the kids are saying because of Kendrick Lamar and his beef with BBL Drizzy. I don't trust none of them, except for Little House on the Prairie and the one who said she used to be this boss babe. I'm still side-eyeing her, but I respect it too. But Little House on the Prairie, respect. All respect over here.
Oh, you ain't know what that was? Oh, that doo-doo, baby.